So today we're going to talk about my Trangia and how I make lunch, and about some of the stuff that I bring or brought on the BDR. Today we're just out in a different spot. Get a load of this. And we're just having a little picnic today. It's October 2nd, and our days of playing outside on the motorcycle when it's nice like this, like 25 degrees Celsius, are pretty limited. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the Trangia here. Understanding I have to do everything with one hand, which kind of sucks, but we'll do our best. This is a Trangia Model 27. It's the smaller of the two, what they refer to as storm cookers. I bought it brand new before I went to Idaho. I used it for every single meal. The dual sole, it's a stainless steel pot with aluminum coating on the outside. So there's the frying pan, the strainer lid, the thingy, pot holder. I bought the kettle separately, and I use it a lot for making coffee or water for coffee, obviously. Not sure I would bring it again because it adds extra weight and I just don't need it. I can use pots for warming stuff up too. But we're going to make some coffee first. Have a multi-fuel burner that we're going to use today. So I'm just going to get that all set up, get some water in it, you can see how it works. So I do have the alcohol burner, and it is full of alcohol. You store it, Trangia recommends you store it inside this yellow bag. There's the lid. I'm not going to take it off. It's full of methyl alcohol right now. And then there's the snuffer. I'm not going to use that today, just because I want to demonstrate how the multi-fuel burner works instead. You might ask, what are all these blue paper towels for? Now, these are like tough towels, and I put them in between all the layers of the Trangia. What I've noticed on the longer trips is that when they rub together, the aluminum gets a little bit banged up. So I'm just trying to keep that kind of wear down to a minimum. I do want to keep this thing for a long time, so that's why I'm trying to see. You can even see the line of the pots on the inside. So just trying to keep it as nice as I can for as long as I can. And I suppose it keeps the rattling down too. So this is the multi-fuel burner I bought. It's just an Amazon special. I can't even remember what it's called. It's got Lanshan on the bottle. It's basically, this pump is a bit of a knockoff of a Primus OmniFuel. Connects the same way. You see this connection here is for isobutane. I do have an adapter that I bought on Amazon so I can run propane as well. This used to have legs on it. As you can see, these are the mounts for the legs. And what I did was I actually cut the rivets off, took the legs out, and then you can see that this is the hole where the long rivet went through before. Sorry, you can't even see it. There's the hole where the long rivet went through. As I was saying, I cut the legs off. They used to go down through these holes, and it turns out that it's just the perfect size to fit in the Trangia. Right now I have the smaller jet in it. It burns propane, iso, butane, gasoline. That's about it, I guess. This is the smallest jet, and I cleaned it out by one size drill bit, and I'll add, when I'm doing the post edits, I'll add what size that bit was. And I do know it burns kerosene and diesel fuel as well. I've tried it. So basically with this setup, it'll burn everything. It doesn't like burning the diesel fuel or the kerosene very much. I think the hole is just a little bit too big now, so it tends to flood. But if you keep the settings lower, it actually does work. So lighting this isn't complicated. You pump the bottle up about 20-25 times. The nozzle part goes down like that. That's its on position, like the Primus. So you just turn it on, and you hear a little spray of gas in there. You only need to do that for a moment, and just enough to get it wet a little bit. Just light it, and then that just primes the burner, preheats it all. When it starts sizzling like that and the flame calms down a little bit, we can add some pressurized fuel to it, and it should start working pretty good. Really, this only takes a few seconds. You might be able to hear it sizzling. Sometimes I put this on to... There, she's starting to sizzle on her own, so we'll just add some fuel. That flare up is just because it's not quite hot enough yet. So I'll just turn it down a little wee bit, get it open. And there she goes. It's running. So we're going to start with some water for some coffee. Always difficult to do this with one hand. I'm going to have to put the camera down. Okay, we got her filled up with water from the Camelback. I'm going to make a little bit of coffee. There we go. Notice that there's holes here. You want to keep them downwind. That's where it draws oxygen. And on this side it's solid, so you put this upwind, which is which way we have it right now. Can of chunky chicken vegetable pot pie. And I opened it with one of these really super cheap Coghlan's can openers. They work surprisingly well. So we got that in the pot. My wooden spoons. I guess I can talk about what's in my little kitchen bag here. An Nalgene bottle. This is dish soap. Next time I'll bring less. This little bit is all I used in the entire BDR. And I wash my dishes every day and everything. This is coconut oil. Again, could have used a smaller container. AC pepper medley. Works great on steaks and everything. Instant cappuccino, which I bought in the States. I have a booby bottle. This is made out of silicone. You can put hot water in it, cold water, anything, it doesn't leak. And it rolls up fairly compact. One night it was really cold, so I filled it with hot water and threw it in my sleeping bag to help keep my feet warm. This is my Mora cans bowl. I use it constant. It comes in this sheath with a belt loop, with this holder for fire steel, a ferro rod, and it has a diamond sharpener on it that I've never used. I sharpen my knives with stones. And this is the knife itself. It's got about a 4-inch blade, maybe a 4 1/4 inch blade. It's got multiple grinds, as you can see. This end is very good for cutting tomatoes. It's good for general food prep and for using as a steak knife for eating with. I don't even have a steak knife. And then this double grind here is good for batoning wood. I use it for that occasionally. It's also it has a sharpened spine to use the fire steel. You can make feather sticks, everything you want with it. This is probably my #1 tool, and I leave it on the bike all the time. And it's stainless steel, so it never rusts. This GSI foldable spatula, used it for my eggs. Short pair of tongs. I use these a lot. Bunch of extra instant coffees. I bring these pretty much everywhere all the time. Wooden utensils. I thought it would be a good idea, but it turned out not to be. Since when we're on the road, just with the dew and everything, these things get wet. And then you're never able to dry them, so they start picking up these black spots. So I got rid of the fork. It broke anyways, but I'm going to get rid of these as well. For the rest of the BDR, I use this fork, which I actually borrowed from BC Ferries. Warming up the soup, I've got it on the flame as low as it can possibly be to stay going. It's funny because I made these preparations to make coffee and then forgot a cup. So, no coffee today, but I do have water. So, see, we're going to make booby bottle coffee. I do have a cup. So this cappuccino stuff, just 3 tablespoons of this powder, and then that kettle full of water. So there we go. In only a few short minutes, warmed up a whole kettle full of water for booby bottle coffee. Warmed up a whole ½ liter can of soup. Warm, that's good and hot. Now we're just going to put the second kettle on for wash water. It's burning Coleman white gas system. The modification that I did makes it run more steady. Before, it used to surge no matter how much I pumped it up or anything. I took it apart, cleaned everything when I left. It didn't seem to help. The gasoline jet that it comes with for propane and fuel works fine, and but it won't burn alcohol. So I do have the larger jet for the alcohol, and it works fine. I have the Trangia burner, so there's no real point. But like I said, I did clear out that diesel jet by one step. I actually lowered that plate. See the burner plate in there? I bent it so it actually sits a little bit lower. And I honestly think that the lowering the plate actually made the biggest difference. Where these differ from the Primus setups is that cone, that fire cone, is just light material on this. On the Optimus and Primus, they're both made out of bronze and they're quite heavy and massive. I think being able to contain the heat within that cone is probably the key to having it burn in a more stable fashion. Like the Primus stove, just flip the bottle over so the valve is up and the pickup goes up like that, so it's just going to draw out the last of the gas and clear the line. I also wanted to add that when I cut those tabs off, I left about a 1/8 tab on it, and that's so it doesn't fall down in the hole. But otherwise it's unmodified. And the Trangia is unmodified as well. It already came with this hole for the gas burner, the Trangia branded one, which is actually supplied by, or it was at one time supplied by Primus. So I'm really not surprised this fits